Someone asked how to stay centered when someone is criticizing their beloved. And this really comes down to identity. Who do you think you are? If we are feeling triggered when someone is criticizing the one that we love, then it shows that they are a part of our identity, that who we think we are is actually a creation of our relationship with our beloved. That it feels like when someone criticizes the one you love, it feels like they are criticizing you. And this creates reactivity within yourself. You react to the criticism. It's what shakes you. This is why you ask how to remain centered. Because you're noticing that when someone criticizes someone that you love, it feels like you get shaken. It feels like you are threatened. You lose your center. You're no longer resting in yourself, but instead, you're now reactive. And this is pointing to the identity. It's showing you that there's still this false identity. That who you think you are is actually constructed of the one that you love. So in short, if we inquire, who am I? This one that's getting triggered, this one that's getting knocked off balance, this one that's getting shaken, this one that's getting offended. Who is this? And as we explore, we can't find a separate entity that is actually hurt or threatened or triggered or offended. We simply can't find a separate entity. So if we simply rest as we are, the presence of awareness, that which you are, when this criticism arises, this reactivity arises in response to the criticism, you can simply remain as you are, the presence of awareness, and simply be aware of this conditioned pattern arise within yourself. And that's all it is. It's a conditioned pattern. It's a tendency to want to defend the one that you love. So how you remain centered is by being still and simply observing this pattern within yourself, this reactivity within yourself. It will arise and you are simply watching it as the presence of awareness. And it's your observation, it's your witnessing that actually starts dissolving this pattern. It's as if it's a habit that's still within you that continues to arise. And the fact that you are asking how to remain centered in the midst of the one that you love being criticized, it shows that you are able to abide as yourself in certain situations, and other situations you're not. This situation being one of them. So it's simply like meditation. that what you are is meditation. And this reactivity arises. There will be thoughts, there will be feelings, but you're not identifying with them. As soon as you identify with those thoughts and feelings, it will feel like you are shaken, off balance, caught in the story of the mind. By simply remaining as you are and watching these patterns arise, watching this reactivity arise within you, you are actually dissolving these conditioned patterns, these impressions, these habits. And it's a lot easier said than done. You're not going to be able to remain centered your first try at this. In fact, it's not really a trying. But you're simply abiding as awareness, abiding as the self. And you'll notice that you're able to abide as yourself throughout the day. And there's certain situations that will feel like they bring you out of yourself, sort of say. They knock you off balance. You feel shaken, stirred, rattled. It will just feel like you've given up peace and now got lost in the chaos or conflict. So what happens is you start catching yourself after that event. Someone criticizes your beloved. You get lost in the reactivity. And after that event, you find your balance. You come back to yourself. You're centered. You're abiding as yourself. And you're able to see what happened is there was that reactivity, all because there was the identification, that conditioning pattern. So what will happen is that you are seeing it sooner. You'll go from catching it after the event, which may feel like it puts you in a mood after someone says something about the one that you love. And it'll feel like you hold this bitterness, this resentment. It'll feel like that comment is on your mind for the rest of the day. And you'll see that this latency, this period after the event will become shorter and shorter, that you're able to let it go sooner and sooner. And then you'll start seeing that activity arise in the event. You won't catch it after the event, you'll start catching it in the event. And you'll be able to witness the reactivity itself. It will feel like you're responding to the comment, or I should say reacting to the comment, and there will be a certain feeling that you're able to be aware of. I'll put a narration here. You'll never hear this voice, but just to convey it, it will kind of feel like, oh, here I go again. I'm losing myself and I'm playing out this pattern. Here I am and I'm feeling threatened and I have to defend myself. Here I am, I'm getting shaken. So you'll be able to start seeing the reactivity itself as it's arising in real time, you could say. And just like you were able to catch it sooner and sooner after the event, you're going to be able to start being aware of this reactivity sooner and sooner as it's happening. And like I said, the more you watch it, the more you're dissolving that pattern to the point where you're able to see that pattern arise at the start. You're able to experience someone criticizing your loved one, and you'll feel something start to arise within you. And it will feel like it comes up and it doesn't come out. It won't feel like you're pushing it down. It's not that you're suppressing it, but you're also not expressing it. And it's this in between where you're not pushing it down and you're not expressing, you're not letting it come out, that it's this kind of in between that is then you're able to just watch it. It's not really like biting your tongue, but it kind of feels like something like you could say it, but you don't say it. And you're able to just watch this reactivity in yourself. You're able to see that something wants to come out and play, but it's not coming out and playing. Instead, you're just being with this reactivity. And the witnessing of this reactivity is actually purifying it. It's dissolving it. That this habit of always being so triggered and wanting to defend and maybe attack the other for their comment, their criticism, and this feeling of now losing yourself and getting shaken and stirred and rattled and being part of the conflict and losing yourself in the chaos, you'll start seeing that this actually stops happening. That you're able to catch it coming up, and it's this seeing, this witnessing, this observing that actually starts purifying that reactivity, where that is no longer the habit, to the point where that pattern doesn't come up anymore. But like I said, it all comes down to your identity. Who are you? Because if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you are, then you're always identified with something that you're not. And as long as you're identified with something that you're not, these type of situations, events, will always feel like they pull you out of yourself. It will always feel like you get taken away and lost and lose your peace, you could say. So it's really about inquiring, who are you? And then it's about abiding as the self. And this practice is simply that. You're simply abiding as yourself. That's why I said it's not really like you're trying. It's not a doing. It's not a practice that's about doing. The doing is really your reactivity. The reactivity is a doing. Simply watching, witnessing, observing is actually effortless. Just effortlessly being yourself. And you'll start to see that there's a sort of alchemy that's happening within yourself by just watching these patterns come up. And you'll notice that in everyday life, that these type of comments or criticisms, they no longer shake you. They no longer knock you off your center point. You're able to just remain still. You're able to remain silent. And it's not that you become some doormat where you let people walk all over you. You let other people walk all over the ones you love. It's not that. I'm not saying that. It's actually from this place of stillness and silence and centeredness. It's a center without a center. It's feeling grounded without a ground. This stillness gives you the stability to then respond instead of react, that you then become responsive in the moment, that you're not creating some reactivity that is, how do we say this, is over the top for the criticism. You can see this with some people. It's like they're super sensitive in the terms of that identification. Someone says something, someone looks at them the wrong way, and their reactivity is just over the top. We usually call it, this person's crazy. They went crazy. They lost themselves. So you start noticing that this doesn't happen. And you're able to respond in a way that meets the needs of the situation, that arises in the moment. And a lot of times, no response is needed. In a lot of these situations, your silence, your stillness, the fact that you remain present and aware, it gives the other this message. It's a nonverbal message. It's as if they get the message, like, don't say that, or that was disrespectful, or something along those lines. Really, the fact that you're able to hold that presence in these situations is the best teaching for these people that are criticizing your loved ones. They're able to get a reflection back that then teaches them about these type of comments. So inquire, who are you? And if you've gotten insight to who and what you are, then you need to abide as that. And this is kind of the, we can call it integration, that you're able to abide as yourself, that it's not some glimpse that you've had and you kind of pushed away. Well, no, now it's, you've got a glimpse of the truth, but now it's, are you living as the truth? Are you living as the presence of awareness? Are you able to be aware in all areas of your life? And you'll start to see that these old tendencies, these mental impressions, they just start dissolving slowly but surely. Not saying all of them, but these ones that specifically pull you out of yourself, where it feels like you have given up that peace, or perhaps you are peaceful checking the mail or walking around the block, cooking, cleaning. But as soon as you get around people, especially you'll notice the people that are closest to you, then these old tendencies, these conditioned patterns take over. The feeling is that it's very compulsive, or it may feel like you just went unconscious in this situation, that you lost that clarity. You lost the clarity because you're identified with that activity. You weren't able to remain meditative and watch, observe the activity. Instead, the attention is going towards the activity and it's getting lost in that activity. The attention narrows, becomes very focused. And in a way, you become that activity where you're no longer able to witness it. So the practices that you're able to watch that activity without being identified with it, this detached watching, we're able to watch it arise without judgment. You're just able to watch it. It takes no action on your part. Just effortlessly aware of this conditioned pattern arising within you. And you'll start seeing that it starts dissolving, that this pattern shows up less and less, that you're able to abide as yourself more and more. You're able to be yourself. Hopefully this helps. I'll see you in the next one.